Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from Artanian TV. Another quick game of Interplanetary I Spy going on here. We have today what looks like a giant sphinx in Gale Crater on Mars. I'm going to try and keep this short. Basically, I've been going over some of the older sols, going back a couple of years, and I stumbled on this strange outcrop at the bottom of Mount Sharp in the dried up lake bed. And I've been seeing this for years now, from different angles, from over the last 2 or even 3 years, in fact, and this object has shown up in many, many images. In fact, it's probably in hundreds of images, but this particular angle is the best angle because it's the closest, and this particular sol, which is sol 654, I think the camera, the actual Curiosity mass camera zoomed in quite a long way, so we're seeing it in greater detail than we are on other sols. As we see here, this is the day after, this is 655, and it seems a lot further away because basically the camera hasn't zoomed in as much, and you can just about make it out up here in the top right corner. But the one we really want is this one, which is 654, and as you can see, the camera zoomed right into these rocks here to look at this ridge, and this then slopes right down into the dried up lake bed here, and then you have what looks like a very large sphinx here. Now, size, I estimate this to be 100 foot long, possibly 200 foot long, depending on where you measure it from. I mean, if you start the measurement here, you know, obviously it's longer, but the actual structure, I think, starts about here and goes to here, this black spot here. So I'm going to show you in the Gigapan. I've got it here. This is thanks to Neville T for this, Nev Thompson. Done a nice job here. Now, there's different versions of it here. Obviously, you've got the colour-corrected version below, which is bluer, which actually is really nice. And there's some good detail in here. If you look at the foreground, you've got some nice detail in these rocks. Some of this looks a bit like coral or something, may or may not be, but that's interesting. So yeah, some nice detail here, and one of the better sols, I think, this one. The lighting conditions were good, and the camera zoomed in and quite well focused for once, which is makes a nice change. And there it is in the white balance version. You can see it pretty clearly, and I've done nothing to this. This is as it comes. This is just being color corrected, and you can see what looks like a body here with a rather straight structure on the back. I mean, this may be a building, I don't know. It could even just be random rocks, I don't know. But to me, when you see a structure that looks like a sphinx with a head like that, with a nose and an eye, and a chin here, and the top of the head here, and a strange looking object, or perhaps an entrance, or some kind of entrance to a tomb or something here. Now, what we may be seeing here, because this is quite a long way off, this dark object here, which looks like a door, may actually be going into some kind of structure just behind here, but it's very vague and may all be covered in sand and dust and everything. So what we may be seeing here is just a faint outline of a building here or something as well. So hard to tell. So I did some enhancements. I'll try and keep this quick. I did some very quick enhancements of this, and I'll show you it again. This is the raw clip. Okay, and as you can see, this is actually quite a good quality image, but obviously this thing is quite a long way off. Here it is. So I think this is around 100 foot long. It could be 200 foot long. Not sure exactly. It could be 70 or 80. I'll try and work that out, but it is very, very hard with these things because you don't know exactly how far away it is. You know roughly. And you can see here in the raw image that there's something going on here. There's a sphinx-shaped structure with a sphinx-like head on it, which kind of looks human, but kind of doesn't in a way. It's very strange. Yeah, so what that represents, or who that represents, God only knows. Here's a close-up. Here's a clip straight from the Gigapan here. This is untreated from the color-corrected version, which is much bluer, as you can see, and I went in and really darkened it up. The problem is when you do that, you do lose some detail. There's some detail to be seen here. This looks like an archway or some kind of door, and when you really darken it up, it just goes black, obviously. But then you can actually see Let's go to that one where I've brightened it a bit more. You can actually see a nose, a mouth, an eye, the top of the head here, the chin's fairly clear, and this structure kind of slopes down like this. This almost looks like long feet here, and perhaps paws or something of a sphinx. I don't know. This may actually be a building